Hi, Sally Walker here, your hormone expert, and welcome to the hormone blog for today. Today we are going to talk about tummy fat. We're going to talk about what we call muffin top, the type of fat which just sort of seems to explode over the top of your belt around your waist and resembles the muffin that you might buy at the baker's. Yes, muffin fat, tummy fat. Now, if I had the perfect solution for this, then I would be a millionaire. I have so many ladies, so many of my clients, my girlfriends, and even myself for that matter, that complain about this tummy fat. Where the hell does it come from? People say, I haven't changed anything. I'm still eating the same. I'm still exercising the same. I'm doing everything the same, but it's just suddenly come and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and it's ugly and I'm tired of it and I'm frustrated and I'm unhappy. Does that sound familiar? Yes. Yes. Well, you've got to ask yourself, when did it start? And for most ladies, it will be 40 plus, definitely 45 plus. So remember, ladies, now, if you start getting symptoms around that age, then what do you have to do? You have to think about the three hormones, don't you? You have to think about your ovaries. You have to think about perimenopause. So you've got to think about estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, because that is what is changing. Your ovarian production of these three hormones is declining. It's supposed to. This is what life is all about. So, but the decline of these three hormones has knock-on effects, and the knock-on effect here is it's going to affect the production of the hormones cortisol and insulin, and cortisol and insulin are major players for fat storing and fat storing on your tummies. Yeah, so that's what you've got to deal with. You've got to deal with the hormone imbalances that are being created because of the natural programmed decline of the three hormones in your ovaries, and most especially estrogen. So that's what we've got to do. So how do we do this? Well, we know that estrogen is a major player, both related to cortisol and to insulin. So we have to start thinking initially, can we do something about the decline of estrogen? And the answer is yes, ladies, and you know this, and the ladies that know me also know that I am a firm believer of replacing a little bit of the estrogen that we're losing or lost. But you're never going to replace the 70%, and you don't want to replace the 70%, but a little bit. And the estrogen I recommend is always the mildest, the one called estriol, and this is the one called E3. And this can be bought in many countries without prescription. And one of the creams which I personally use and recommend to my clients is called Ovestin. So we can replace some of the estrogen, but as I said, it's never going to be the 70%. But it's good to replace a little bit, not only for the tummy fat, but for many other things as well. But so the opposite, can you do something about cortisol and can you do something about insulin? Well, the answer is absolutely yes, of course you can. So knowing these hormones. So what is cortisol? Well, cortisol is your energy hormone. Its most important job is to make sure there's blood sugar so that every cell can make energy so you can do whatever it is you need to do. Its other big job is anti-inflammatory. So this is the body's major way of controlling the immune system. Immune system is very, very important, but an immune system out of control is not a good thing at all. And one of cortisol's jobs is to make sure it doesn't go out of control by decreasing or blocking for the production of inflammation. That's what it does. So if you have unresolved inflammation in the body, so if you've got pain anywhere, or you've got bloating going on, then you possibly have unresolved inflammation and you need to do something about it. We could have another blog about that, couldn't we? And then there's insulin. So what do we do there? So insulin is the blood sugar hormone. It's responsible for getting glucose out of the blood and into cells. But it's also a major fat storing hormone. So unfortunately here, insulin is a little bit controlled by estrogen. So estrogen has a very positive effect on insulin. So as we lose our estrogen, then insulin doesn't work as well and we end up storing more fat. And because cortisol's becoming a major player, the fat we store will be on our tummies. Yeah. So estrogen is a fat storing hormone, but estrogen stores fat on our breast tissue, on our buttocks, on our thighs. But as we lose our estrogen, then cortisol becomes more dominant and says, no, we're going to store it on the tummies. And then this fat on the tummy actually does produce more cortisol. That's the one thing it does. And the other hormone it produces more of is estrogen. So I have some ladies that say, well, actually, Sally, my hips and my thighs have got bigger as well, or my breast tissue has got bigger as well. And this is because the fat cells on your tummy are producing more estrogen, so you're getting more of the estrogen type fat as well. Yeah. So you've got to bring down this tummy fat. Now, ladies, let me just tell you one thing here. This tummy fat has come to stay. We will never have the figures that we had when we were 25, 30, possibly even 35. Tummy fat is a part of aging, but with that said, it doesn't have to be enormous. We can do as much as we can to control this tummy fat, and this is by using a little bit of estrogen, controlling your cortisol, controlling your insulin. This is the best way to do this. Now, there is another little effect here. So sometimes the ladies, sometimes they're more bloated than they maybe possibly are fat. And this is, again, a knock-on effect of estrogen. So estrogen is responsible for us making the hormone or the neurotransmitter called serotonin. And 90% roughly of the serotonin that the body produces is in the gut. And serotonin is responsible for, amongst other things, the movement of the gut. So as we lose our estrogen, we also lose our serotonin production, and that means the gut doesn't work as well as it used to. So perhaps the movement of the gut is a little bit more slow. And if it is, then we're going to have bugs in there and bacteria and fungus and all kinds of things which are allowed to develop more so than they were earlier. So this means that we maybe get more bloated, and then the tummy fat looks bigger, doesn't it? So it is important here to address this bloating, so address your gut function, and the best way to do this is by getting a good quality of a probiotic on a daily basis to help keep these the bad guys in check. Yeah. So that would be another thing that you could do that would be very good. And so some of the ladies will say, well, what about training, Sally? We have to do more training then. No, ladies, that's not the answer. More training is not going to burn your tummy fat. Possibly it's going to increase your tummy fat. It's all about hormones, ladies. You've got to control those two hormones, cortisol and insulin. You've got to support estrogen. So when we train, when we exercise, then we need to think about building muscle tissue. We need to think about building strength. That's the most important thing for us up to menopause and after menopause. Doing more endurance training or training for long periods or doing more exercise, then we're going to be increasing our cortisol. And what does cortisol do? Yeah, well, it's going to store more fat on the tummy. So doing more exercise is not the way forward, but doing high intensity strength type training, maybe 30, 40 minutes max, will actually build more muscle tissue, keep cortisol in check, and the more muscle tissue you have, you're going to be burning more fat while you're resting. So, combination there, support your estrogen, bring down your insulin, bring down your cortisol, support your gut, and make sure you're doing the high intensity strength training and keep the training duration down to around 30, 40 minutes at a time. I hope you enjoyed today's session. I did, absolutely. Please send me an email, sws@sally-walker.com, and tell me about a symptom that you're being troubled with, that you would like some information, and we'll put that up next time. So I'm already looking forward to tomorrow, where I will be talking about something else. So I hope to see you then. And until then, happy hormones, happy life.